What's good? We're back with more Inside the Green Room with Danny Green. I'm Harrison Sanford.
Good
You
shit.
just heard or saw our interview with Jeannie Buss. Before we talk about the Miami Heat and that, I guess it would be the third time you're seeing them in the finals, Danny, I do want to reflect, and as we alluded to in our first segment, I do want to reflect on the time that you spent as a team discussing the Breonna Taylor verdict, or how that kind of played itself out, at least for now. Rajon Rondo, having played basketball at the University of Kentucky, being from Louisville, I'm sure you guys have spoken about how it impacted him. And so if you could take us inside some of those huddles, some of those team meetings, and how that was handled.
Yeah, well, briefly, man, we have a group chat, and when the verdict was about to happen, Bron text group, it's coming out. The verdict's about to come out in about 5 minutes. Turn to channel 13. That's what it's on. And the verdict came out, and everybody right away let their feelings be known. And this is before we could actually talk to the media about it. But guys were not happy, upset. This is not cool. It's not okay. Bullshit. Except those things. And we had a chance. We didn't really get a chance to be brief before we talked to the media about it. We just, I didn't want to say anything crazy. I just said, it's not enough. We're not happy with it. We want more justice. We're still fighting for it. We're not giving up hope. And then we had, as a team, the next day, talked about it in the meal room. And we just want to let Rondo, that we were here for him, whatever he needed his support, because we know that's in his backyard. Bron made it be known. Look, coach first addressed it, said he was a little, I guess, not as empathetic or sympathetic as he wanted to be, because he's thinking about basketball and the loss, and he wanted to bring it to our attention and how we felt about it, what's going on, and let us know, that the organization, he's there for us. And then Bron said, we want to make sure that we're thinking of Doe, and because this is his backyard, we know it hits home for him more than, closer to him than anybody else in this room. Obviously, we're all feeling it, but said when it's in your hometown, when it's in your backyard, it's going to hit you a little differently. So, we briefly came together, let Doe know we had his back, and that we're still obviously focusing on basketball, but we're trying to figure out ways to fight the times and make things better outside of this bubble, and instead in our communities for when we leave here and while we're here. So.
Yeah, it's a trying time. I think a lot of people in the Black community were not surprised. I think people, just in general, are starting to understand that it's not a surprising result, even though we want a lot of people would want a different result. I would just ask all of us to be very aware and be educated as much as we can, and be as level-headed as reasonably possible, because I envision that these times over the next month or so could be very tumultuous, just because we're getting really close to election. But hope everything kind of works. Hope everything turns out well, and I hope the proper change takes place. But I hope level-headedness prevails across both sides. With that being said, let's talk about some basketball for a little bit. You've been in the bubble for how long now? What, 3 months?
Yeah, about that, man. It's probably exactly 3 months coming up in about another week or so. Yep.
Oh, okay. You have any Big Face coffee yet?
No Big Face coffee. I'm not a coffee drinker. But if I was a big coffee drinker, I probably would get some Big Face coffee.
He's charging like Jimmy's charging like $15, $20 a cup for that Big Face coffee.
I'm a frugal guy, and I am cheap. But I would have to at least try it. You know what I'm saying? Just like, and what was the movie? It was a $5 shake. Back then it was expensive shake. You know what I'm talking about? No, you don't. You don't watch it.
You know I don't. I'm just nodding my head like, okay.
Pulp Fiction.
Oh, I know Pulp Fiction, yes.
Well, John Travolta goes in, and he's playing his role, and they go to a restaurant. He's taking out Marcellus Wallace's wife out, and she wants to order a shake. He goes, it's a $5 shake. How much? What the hell? How's this a $5 shake? Why does a shake cost $5? I want to know what it tastes like. I got to order one just to see what it tastes like.
Yeah.
So I got to get a $20 coffee just to see what it tastes like. And I said, I'm a Jimmy. Jimmy's a good friend. We're all fraternity brothers. So a fan of him. We've been knowing each other for some years, competed for some years. Love the way he plays, how passionate. And as a person, he's a great dude, man. So you cannot be a fan of Jimmy. So everybody said it's cool with Miami and Jimmy, and a big fan of him. So I think any of the coffee drinkers, if they were a part of the team, they would definitely support the Big Face coffee.
For our Inside the Green Room fans, or our newer fans, this will be the third time Danny's playing against the Miami Heat. In our very first episode, Danny relived what happened the night they lost as a member of the San Antonio Spurs. They lost to the Miami Heat, and how he ended up in the club, and how he ended up seeing LeBron, and he
Yes.
ended up seeing Drake. We are not going to go through that story now. We're going to check. If you want that story, which I thought was damn funny, you have to go to the very first episode in our catalog.
That's
It's only
like
in
2 years
audio
ago, huh?
format. That's 2 years
2 years.
ago we did that. Over 2 years ago now we did that episode. It's crazy.
Wow.
Um, yeah, I know. So I'm going to say some statements as if I was a Heat fan, right?
Okay.
Or if I was leaning towards the Heat, and I just want your response.
Hmm.
Bam Adebayo is the best defensive option for Anthony Davis in the league.
I wouldn't disagree. I mean, so there's obviously the reason why they're in the finals. They're the top team in the East, and that kid is balling. He's great. He's very athletic. He can do multiple things. There's not many people that can guard Anthony Davis. If any. I don't think there is anybody who can guard Anthony Davis. But if you were to pick somebody as the best option or the best chance at giving him, some type of resistance, you'd have a guy that's able to guard his foot speed, quickness, because most bigs are too slow, most fours are too small. And Bam is a strong enough kid and quick enough to be mobile, to be able to, I guess, I said, stick with him a little bit. I don't know. We'll see how that matchup goes. I'm not gonna say that he can't guard him or say that he won't guard him or that he will guard him well. But I think he has the capabilities and potential because of his build and makeup. You need a bigger guard. He's built like a big guard, and that's how AD is built. So those are the only people I'd say have the best option. And also, he's on the best team in the East right now. So why would you not choose one of the best defensive players on the best team in the East to guard Anthony Davis? But I do think that we have an advantage with Bron and Anthony Davis on any night, given night, playing against anybody, whether the best defensive option or not. Those guys are the greatest in the world at what they do for a reason, and you still know what they're going to do, and you can't stop it. And that's why they're so special. So regardless of who we're playing, I think we have an advantage and a mismatch on either one of those guys.
Another thing that Miami Heat fan might say is this. We played the zone, or we employed the zone very well to a great level of success against the Celtics in the earlier part of the series. I think we can do that again against the Lakers.
Possibly, man. We'll see how that goes. We haven't played against zone in a while. I'm sure we'll go over it. We'll script it. We'll figure out how to attack it. Regardless, we don't want to give them a chance to play the zone. And the only way to do that is to get stops and push the pace. The only way they can get set up in the zone is they keep scoring baskets and slowing the game down. We know it's our advantage is pushing the pace, getting on the break, but also getting stops. We have to use our defense to be able to, make some of our offense happen. And if it doesn't happen that way, then it slows down. We have to figure out how to do it, and we got to shoot better, and we got to find ways to attack it. Use our bigs inside, AD inside, lobs, attack, penetrate, and find kickouts. So I'm sure they'll go man to man. They have some good pieces to do that as well. But it's going to be a chess match with the coach. That's what the coaches get paid to do, and we figure it out. But we have to make sure that we're ready on all aspects and all categories of what we're supposed to do as players.
I'm sure it must be a comforting thing for you to have gone through Trailblazers series, then go through the Rockets series, and go through the Nuggets series, and we see these changes that the coach and staff makes, and we see it work, and we see how once it clicks, series over, game set match. I'm sure that's like very encouraging to know, like, hey, whatever you draw up, coach, I'm gonna run with it. I mean, that's what championship teams do for sure.
Sure.
But I'm sure it must be encouraging to see defensive game plans get altered and it works out to the benefit of the team.
Definitely. We figure it out though. End of the day, we figure it out as a group. But at the same time, it may not go like that. Just because it happened in one series doesn't mean it's going to happen in another. A lot of times, and I've seen in the past, we make an adjustment, then the team makes an adjustment to our adjustment. Then it's like, all right, might be going back and forth. We just so happen to make the proper adjustments to where it's worked, and the teams weren't able to, I guess, readjust to something better, or to where it worked, or counter adjust to make us kind of scramble around. And usually you make adjustments when you're losing. So we've been able to win games and learn at the same time, even though we have lost game ones of the first two series. We'll be able to win games and learn, and if they adjust, we still end up figuring it out to be able to win the game at least, to where they can't continue to keep that adjustment going. They figure out, like, we have to find a different angle, we have to do this, we have to do that. So instead of maybe it goes different from series to series, but fortunate enough for us, the adjustments we had made have been good, and they worked throughout the games so that, through the rest of the series.
I'm sure there's a segment of Lakers fans who are somewhat disappointed that it's not the Boston Celtics to be able, if you guys win, it's the 17th championship for the franchise. It puts you on the even playing field, so to say, at least with the Boston Celtics into the titles, even though some people might feel as if the Lakers' dominance throughout multiple decades makes them the better franchise overall, regardless of number of titles. But, I know for you personally, potentially, and maybe for LeBron personally, potentially, because of his previous affiliation with the Heat, for you, do you, obviously you're excited to play in the finals, but do you feel like this, obviously you're in the bubble, so it's special in that sense, but what thoughts go through your mind when you think about playing in the NBA finals, specifically against the Miami Heat? Obviously, 2013, you have this record-breaking finals three-point shooting performance, but you lose because of LeBron, and then you win the next year. But that doesn't necessarily mean you're up. It means you're even with them.
Pretty much, and that's kind of what comes to mind. Part of it, obviously, there's some good memories there, and obviously, I feel like I let one slip away. We let one get away from us, but it was to LeBron. It's a totally different team, totally different. I wouldn't say franchise organization, but just a totally different foundation or group there now. But still, at the end of the day, it's one of those. It's a team that I've faced a couple of times, and so I let one slip away, and I don't want to let it happen again. You come this far, you stay in the bubble this long. It's gonna be a long fall, I would say, because usually it's summer, but it's gonna be a long fall if you come up short. And the last thing I want to do is be going home, frustrated from a whole damn off season, thinking about what I could have done better, what I should have done better, and what I need to do, and just put my body through, my mind through that type of frustration or pain or work because I'm frustrated because I want to be better for next year. That 2013 summer was a hell of a long summer until we got back to 2014. I don't know if my mind, body, or spirit or soul can handle that type of frustration through an off season, especially when it's a quick turnaround. But yeah, you think about all those things, and you said come this far, you got to make it happen now.
One quick thought. I know you're not going to give away the scout, but what type of challenge does somebody, and you've played against the Warriors, and I'm not saying that Duncan Robinson is a member of the Warriors or Clay or Steph Curry, but he does remind me in the sense of there's so much actions that they run for him to get a shot up. What type of challenge could he present? Obviously, a lot of people know Goran Dragic, a lot of people know Jimmy Butler, but I feel as if Duncan Robinson could potentially blow open a game with his three-point shooting and the way that he doesn't hesitate in taking shots that might seem bad but are good for him.
Just like you said, man, treat him like he's a Golden State member. Obviously, we're not trying to respect Steph and Clay, but at the same time, you got to respect this kid. This kid, even though he's young, he's a rookie, whatever, he's doing similar things. You have that appropriate fear, and he's playing like he's one of those guys. He's a very elite shooter, can get open. Spo runs some great stuff to him to get open. So you better be sure and mindful of where he's at all times on the court and not let him see any type of daylight because he can change the series. And as you've seen tonight, he made some big shots against Boston. Iggy made some big shots. They have some players that can change the whole game. For me, in my mind, I think the X factors are the two main factors that we want to slow down is Bam and Goran. Those guys have been leading them throughout the play. Obviously, Jimmy is their main leader, floor speak, vocal guy. But scoring-wise, offense end of the floor, Bam and Goran, and those guys have been running through. They've kind of been the leaders of the offense, or running things through them. If we slow them down, I think we give ourselves a pretty good chance. And offensively, we just have to score. We have to figure out to push the pace and score.
So I looked at the schedule. For the most part, it kind of starts out the same way. You play a game, you get a day off, you play. And I think around game 4, you might get 2 days off or so. Just in general, how do you – it's going to be a new finals in that sense too, because sometimes you'll have like 3 days off during the finals usually, and you were just in them last year. How do you feel? I'm sure you looked at the schedule. How do you feel about it approaching it?
I haven't seen the schedule. I looked at it
briefly. Oh, you haven't?
I've looked at it briefly. It just came out, so I looked at it briefly. I know I just figured we play every other day. So that's what I'm prepared to do. If we have a couple days in between, even better. But we're going to attack it one game at a time like we always do. One possession, one quarter at a time. We want to win the first possession, the first quarter. We want to win game 1. We want to win game 2. Obviously, it may not go that way smoothly, but we make adjustments, figure it out. But we've been here long enough. We don't want to be here any longer than we don't have to be. So we want to win, just like we win another series, and try to do it as quickly as we can, so we can get back home. Obviously, respect them. It's a great team. It's a good ball club. We know we're not going to expect to sweep anybody, but that's always the goal. We want to win every game and every time we step on the floor.
All right, Danny. Good luck. Do your thing. Hopefully, you keep on moving up these stats. Hopefully, you add another title to your resume.
That's the most
And I'll
important thing.
ask.
Stats don't worry, but the winning is more important than anything
Yes.
else. Stats will come
I'll
later.
ask. I'll ask you one question that I know your close friends ask you before we go. What's better than 2-time?
3 times.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.